A major blow to AEW heading into the summer as Dax Harwood, one half of FTR, looks like he will be out with an injury for an undetermined amount of time, according to a new video that he posted on social media. We're going to take a look at that video, hear what he had to say, break down what's next for not only FTR, but also All Elite Wrestling, and a very important summer for them. We're also going to be taking a look at new reporting from FightfulSelect.com about the partnership between TNA and WWE and who else may show up in WWE moving forward. All that much more coming up right here in this video. I'm Omer Q for Real Take Wrestling. Be sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. All right, so recently, Dax Harwood has been seen on AEW TV. Everything seemed to be fine. However, we are now learning that that was not indeed the case. So Dax Harwood late last night, I should say, on social media, posted a video explaining an injury that he is dealing with. We're going to take a look at it and then react. Here it is.
What's up, y'all? Sometimes social media can be a harsh place, and I know there's a lot of people, especially in the Twitter world, that don't really care for me too much, and that's okay, but I thought this was the best way that I could talk to the fans of AEW and the fans of FTR, and finally get this off of my chest. First of all, before I go any further, I want to apologize to my boss. I want to apologize to the front staff in AEW. I want to apologize probably more than anything. I want to apologize to the medical staff too, because I should have been upfront. I should have been truthful about some things that's been going on with me over the last couple of months, and I didn't because I thought I could tough it out. At the Dynasty pay-per-view in the ladder match with the Young Bucks for the AEW World Tag Team Championships, I gave Matt Jackson a pile driver through the ladder, and when I landed, it messed my lower back up really, really bad and caused a severe hematoma that appeared on my lower back, which, as we know, that's where the brunt of the bumps go for a professional wrestler. I thought I could tough through it. I felt that FTR was on a momentum high there, and I wanted to not take myself and Cash off of the road. And after this weekend, after this match with the Blackpool Combat Club, 20-minute draw, incredible match, one of my favorite matches I've had in AEW, I got to the back and I put some ice on my lower back, and the hematoma blew up to the size of a football, at the very least the size of a football. And with that and with the pain, I've debated on whether saying this and whether explaining this, because I don't want anybody to think I'm trying to get sympathy. But the pain has been, at the very, very, very minimum, the pain's been excruciating over the last few months. I haven't wanted to tell anybody because I didn't want, like I said, I didn't want FTR to be taken off of television. I didn't want us to be taken off the road. Maybe selfishly, maybe a little egotistically, I felt that we were an important part to AEW, to Dynamite, and obviously, more importantly, to Collision, which has been our home for the last year. But today I had to get an x-ray on my lower back, on my pelvis, and they had to take a look at this hematoma. And when I finally explained this Saturday to Doc Sampson and the whole medical team, who is incredible, and their only objective is to take care of this talent, when I explained to them what I've been hiding for the last 2 months, Doc Sampson immediately took me off of the road. He said, "You've got to rest it up, and if you don't, it could get worse, and it could lead to possible retirement, and obviously I don't want that." So going forward, I got to be truthful with you guys. I got to be truthful with my bosses. I got to be truthful with the medical staff. And I don't know how long this is going to last. I don't know how long we're going to have to be off. But unfortunately, and maybe fortunately for some of you people that don't like FTR, myself and Cash will not be on television for a while. I have to rest this thing up. The nights, the sleepless nights have been catching up with me because I cannot get a comfortable position even in my bed. So you got to think, if I can't get a comfortable position in my bed, imagine the plane rides or the top rope superplexes and all this stupid shit that I do at almost 40 years old. But I hope and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that give me some grief for it, but I hope all this is for the love of the game, and it's for the love of all you fans. Again, I'm not sure how long we'll be back. I hope it's sooner than later. But I hope when we come back, we can come back better than ever. And, my number one priority in this profession is the legacy. Obviously, I know I get flack for it, the legacy of FTR, and I never want that to go away. Thank you guys for everything. Thank you to my work, to my bosses, to everyone who didn't give me any shit for lying to them and taking the steps needed that I wouldn't take to take care of my body. Because without them, I'm sure in the next couple of months, couple of years, I'd be a crippled man. And I can't thank them enough. So Doc Sampson, the whole medical team, even my boss man, Tony Khan, who had no idea about this, and I hope he's okay with this. Thank you guys for everything, and I hope to see everybody soon. Top guys, out.
That was Dax Harwood, one half of FTR, explaining the injury he's dealing with. It's a hematoma, excuse me. That is a very serious injury. We've seen wrestlers, be out for extended periods of time, and wrestling on that injury is very dangerous. As Dax said in that video, he posted some pictures online on his social media, some very graphic pictures that I'm not going to show here, but they show you kind of the extent of the injury and kind of what Dax is dealing with at this moment in time. Very serious stuff. Hopefully, obviously, first things first, he gets better soon. Not only because FTR happens to be one of the greatest tag teams of all time, and we want to see them around for as long as humanly possible, but also for Dax's own health. He has a family. He has beautiful kids. So hopefully, he is able to get some rest and get back to normal routines as soon as humanly possible. But we all kind of saw Dax take a very weird bump. I was there in St. Louis at AEW Dynasty, and I saw the bump that he was referring to live in person. And when he took that bump, my immediate reaction was, "Oh my God, this dude is done. How is he still in this match? How is he still continuing?" Because I thought that the injury looked bad on TV, but it was even worse in real life because you heard it. You just heard it, heard his back go off that ladder. It was not pretty to hear. And this gets to a point of kind of how the business has changed, right? As Dax talked about in that video, he originally had no intention of telling people or flagging this injury for AEW or their medical staff because he believed that FTR was in a position where they needed to be there, that Collision needed FTR, that AEW needed FTR, that FTR was at one of the hottest periods that they've ever been in. And while I can sympathize with that, and while we can all recognize that, at the same time, one of the good things about this era in professional wrestling, probably the best thing about this era in professional wrestling, is that if you are injured, if you are dealing with something that is as serious as Dax is dealing with, we have the medical capabilities to deal with it. And the companies, at least the major companies at this point, are a lot more sympathetic to that and lean more towards helping you rather than pushing you down the card. And it is a bit of the old school mentality. And I think even Dax will admit, he's a bit of an old school guy. Tough it out, make sure that you take care of business, make sure that you go out there and give the fans their money's worth. And that is admirable, and we love that. But at the same time, you know what we love more? seeing Dax Harwood on our TV show, because he is a great tag team wrestler, that's no question, but he's also a really good singles wrestler as well. And it's unfortunate that this happened. I am one of those people who's often said that, the tough it out mentality, the old school mentality, doing the old way of hey man, look, got a few concussions tonight, let me go pop some pills, all that kind of stuff. It was a very dangerous, lifestyle for wrestlers to live by. And one of the best things about this era is the ways we deal, the ways that, people in general and wrestlers especially deal with these types of ailments and like being on the road, all that kind of stuff. It's a lot better. It's just, I don't care what the Undertaker has. Like, goddamn it, in my day, people used to smoke cigarettes, drink whiskey, and men were men. All that BS, right? Best thing about this era is that you don't have to deal with issues in that way. You can take time off. A team like FTR, they're made men. They could go away for a year, come back red hot. That is the benefit of being FTR. That is the benefit of being Dax Harwood. That is the benefit of being one of the best tag teams in wrestling history. So we can talk about, whether or not he was right. Like, he was wrong, and he admitted he was wrong for not telling the AEW medical staff. And it's a good thing. People are asking, like, why is this video coming out? Why would he's doing this as a propaganda thing for AEW? It came across to me more so as Dax, he didn't need to put this out. He could have just been injured. They could have been like, oh, Dax Harwood dealing with an injury. Hopefully we'll see him soon. But this is like Dax, I think, in a way, kind of taking accountability for that. And, also just like being honest with his fans, something he does not need to do. He doesn't owe anyone anything, but being honest with people. And there's going to be a-holes online like Disco Inferno who drag him for it, and the 12 people who listen and follow to his podcast or whatever can rave about it on Twitter. But at the end of the day, Disco Inferno and his impact on pro wrestling and his voice in the space, it doesn't matter to a lot of people. Certainly not to me. Obviously not to Dax Harwood either. But and it's like that old school mentality I was talking about. Like some people love to drag people. They love to drag the people, especially when they're at their lowest and weakest or whatever. And it sucks. And that is the old school mentality of pro wrestling. That is Disco, I guess, is an old school guy in that respect. Don't want to talk about him too much. But it's sad to see, veterans of the game do that to people who are, just also infinitely better than him. I'm going to be real with you. Anyway, guys, let's move on and talk about WWE and TNA. And let's get right into it. So FightfulSelect.com came out with a report highlighting multiple WWE and TNA crossover possibilities. So here is the report from FightfulSelect.com on potential TNA crossovers in WWE. It says, quote, "It has been long known in NXT that Shawn Michaels was a big supporter of Mustafa Ali prior to his WWE release and had big plans for him on the brand prior to his exit. But those we spoke to noted that if Ali were to appear in NXT, it would have to be on his terms, though it wasn't specified what that meant. However, it's important to note that Fightful Select Sean Ross Sapp confirmed that Mustafa Ali actually isn't signed to a TNA contract and could appear completely separate of anything associated with NXT. Ali was scheduled to be a champion before his NXT WWE release." So, interesting tidbit there. The other names that were dropped in that FightfulSelect.com report included the likes of Moose, included the likes of the Rascals, which we could see an MSK weird reunion potentially, and others as well. So, what does this mean? I mean, look, WWE has opened up the forbidden door with TNA. That much is known. That much is clear. That much we're seeing on NXT. As far as how far it goes, I think is up to both companies kind of negotiating that. For TNA, I mean, just having your talent on WWE TV does a lot, and it will boost your brand, especially as there's kind of rumblings about TNA maybe getting off of Axis and going to a real TV station. Whether or not that happens is TBD. But for TNA, I mean, like, you're going to offer up basically anyone. Like, they want Moose. If they want to do something with Moose, Moose is probably going to be on WWE TV. If they want to do something with, obviously they're doing it with Jordan Grace. They want to do something with Josh Alexander, who's another name that was, speculated to potentially come over. That would be a big one. I think there's so much room for Josh Alexander to highlight what he can do. And that's a guy, if I'm WWE, when his contract is up in a few years, you got to sign him, because he is as great of an in-ring technician as there is, and he is such a likable and beloved personality by many wrestling fans that I think he would be an absolute, it would be an absolute privilege to watch him like do business with people in NXT and WWE. Mustafa Ali was obviously the one that I picked out in that excerpt, and there's a reason for that. Right now, he is on his Ali 2024 run. He was released by WWE late last year, and ever since he's come back, he has come back with a fury. Undefeated, right now X Division champion, talking about potentially using Option C, cash in on the World Championship, but he's not signed to TNA. And that is a very interesting thing. Many people kind of assumed that Ali was signed to TNA, but he made it pretty clear that from the get-go, he made it pretty clear that he did not want to sign an exclusive deal right off the bat. And it's a smart thing, because this way he more so controls his creative and what he does. This way he is able to build almost a cult-like following right now. This way he is able to be the best version of himself, literally controlling his own narrative, pardon the pun. And if part of that is coming to WWE, I think the interesting thing is going to be, do they have him go over NXT talent? And I could very well see that. I could very well see that as a way for Shawn Michaels to be like, well, we could bring you back in. Thing is, would Mustafa Ali want to be back in? Because at this point, I don't see him as anything but a main roster guy. Whether eventually he goes back to WWE or he signs with AEW or whatever, I see him as like a main event level guy whenever he does come back, because that's the type of talent he is. That is what he is proving right now with this run. On the microphone, he's great. In the ring, we already know, and the presence that he's building up is absolutely epic. If TNA and WWE are able to bring Ali to the table and make that happen, that would be monsters for NXT. Like that would be like one of the few scenarios where the TNA talent would like outshine the WWE talent in this respect. But a lot of stuff happening. Guys, I want to hear from you. What talent from TNA do you want to see in WWE when this is all said and done? Do you want to see Moose, the TNA champion, wrestle, I don't know, versus Trick Williams? I don't know. We'll see. Maybe. Let me know in the comments section below. If you haven't already done so, be sure to smash that like button like there's no tomorrow. Subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released.